Friends, my name is Chetan Khandelwal and this video is aimed to discuss the solution of first internal paper for year 2023 of subject Information Security. This video is made under the guidance of Dr. Shaligram Prajapat sir, and now let us continue to the question paper. So here let us discuss the first question. In the first question, we are supposed to make a data flow diagram of a login system that is based on identification and authorization processes. So let us continue to the solution. So here is the simple DFD. Let us now understand what this DFD says. So first, the user gives input to the system. User user will provide information to the system. Information will decide whether this the user is new user or a verified user, old user. So first, if a user is new user, then the system have to register the user for the information provided by it. So if your system will take registration details from the user, and will validate whether the register user is will validate that what resources access what to access to the resources, whether to give the user or not. The system will take the system will take information from the user and will validate the user that which resources and for how many times the resources will be accessible to the user, and the account is created for the user and its log file is created in the database system, and the registration feedback is given to the user that his account is created and credential is provided to the user. So you by the using of user credential, he can easily access to the system and log into the system. So will the second step is to log into the system. So user will provide the credential to the system, and system will verify that whether the user is exist into the system or not, and provide the access capability to the user to access the information data system database. Let us now see the second question. So in the second question, we have to explain two principles, that is Shannon's principle and second is Kirchhoff's principle. For this basically this we have to explain both of these principles with related to the cryptography system and Shannon's. Let us now continue to the Kirchhoff's principle. So Kirchhoff's principle is a basic principle for modern cryptography and was formulated by a Dutch cryptographer August Kirchhoff. The principle states that a cryptography system should be secure even if everything about the system except the key is public. Basically, this principle states that if we are designing a cryptographic system or algorithm, then we can make simply the algorithm public, and but the key that is used for encryption in the cryptography, then it must to be kept secret, so that the unauthorized user must not be access the sensitive information that we are using in cryptography. And now let's see what Shannon's principle is says. Shannon's system is perfectly secure if it meets the following two conditions. So basically, let us first see that what Shannon cipher was and whom when it was proposed. So Shannon cipher is a method of encrypting message that was proposed by Claude Shannon in the seminal paper Communication Theory of Secrecy System in 1949. So, Shannon cipher is based on the principle of perfect secrecy. So, what is perfect secrecy? Perfect secrecy is nothing but if let us consider a scenario that we are using a symmetric key cryptography system and using a key, then perfect secrecy is nothing but changing the it's a phenomena of changing key regularly and constantly all over the period of the encryption, and regular changes in this key prevent unauthorized access to the unauthorized user to the sensitive data, and regular changes in key may be helpful in protecting the system. So this principle basically states that the key space is at least as larger as the message space. Basically, this means that that there are many as possible keys as there are possible messages. This ensures that each message can be mapped to a unique cipher, and there is no ambiguity in the description decryption process. And the second statement of this principle is that each key is equally likely to be used. So basically, it means that each key is chosen randomly from the key space, and overall, this principle says that that the key used in a system must not be a unique, must not that the key used in the system should regularly changes to increase the security of the system. Let us now continue to the third question. So basically, in third question, they have asked you to uh, distinguish the threat vulnerabilities and laws, and what are the differences between and later we have to differentiate the security requirements of computer-based information system and manual system. So let us continue to this topic. So if I explain threat, loss, and vulnerability in short, then threat is nothing but a risk. We can say it's simply the potential danger. It's simply an action that can harm and disrupt the process of an organization, or maybe harm the security of an organization, uh, to and expose the sensitive information to unauthorized access to the user that are not be supposed to access the data, and threat may threat can compromise the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the information system. So let us if we imagine a example, then let us take an example of bank system, that bank with a robust security system in a place to protect customer data. So a threat in this scenario could be a group of hacker attempting to the unauthorized access to the bank network and stealing sensitive information like account number and password, and using them for using them for using them for their malicious purpose and activities. Second, vulnerability. So vulnerability is the weakness. In simple words, I can say that vulnerability is any weak point in the information security system through which unauthorized user can perform its malicious activities directly to the security system, and directly by breaking the security system. And if we consider an example of this, then let us take same example for this. So if we consider the bank's security system, so vulnerability could be our outdated and unpatched software application running on the bank servers. So this vulnerability create a potential entry point to an attacker to exploit and gain unauthorized access. Third is loss. So loss refers to a negative consequences that occur when a threat successfully exploit a vulnerability, and resulting in harm or damage to an organization asset, reputation, or operation. If we consider an example of loss, then let us consider the same example of bank. So bank, we can dictate loss as the loss of account information is stolen as if the information is stolen, leading to financial loss for both the affected bank and customer. Additionally, the bank's reputation takes a hit, resulting in a loss, customer trust, and potential consequences. If I explain threat, loss, and vulnerability in short, then in summary. In short, then threat are potential danger to or harm, vulnerability are weakness in security defenses, and we can say loss are negative consequences resulting from the successful exploitation of vulnerability by threats. Uh, so here are the security requirements for the computer-based information system and manual-based information system. So first, we can differentiate both the system on the access control on the basis of access control. So computer-based system provide access control for mechanism like authentication, encryption, and role-based control. And the manual system is provide access controls like physical security measures such as lock and keys. We can use locks and keys to protect the system from unauthorized access or limit access to filing cabinets and manual blocks. Second, we can differentiate both system on the basis of data backup and recovery plan. So in computer-based system, we can automate the regular backups and off-site backups and is easily manageable and recoverable from disasters. And in manual-based system, manual backup process must be needed and storage is needed for the disaster recovery plan. So third, we can differentiate both the system on the basis of malware protection. So in computer-based system, we use antivirus software or firewall and IDS and IDS and IPS system, that is intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention system for malware protection. And whereas in manual based system we can provide awareness program for to the employees to make them aware of the intrusion and malware attack. And we can manually inspect our files that they whether the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the files is maintained or not. And third, and later we can differentiate both in the basis of data confidentiality. So we can provide confidentiality in computer-based system by using the encryption mechanism, access control, and secure data transmission protocol. And in manual-based system, there is only one way to to apply strict policies of data handling and disposal for maintaining the confidentiality of the system. For maintaining integrity of the computer-based system and this system, we can use digital signature and data validation and checksums uh, techniques for maintaining the integrity of the system. And in manual system, manual validation process and quality control checks are used. Audit and compliances. So automated monitoring and logging of the system is maintained in the computer-based system, and manual tracking of access and activities. Regular physical audits of the file and storage location and compliances reporting. And last point is disaster recovery. So I have discussed earlier that we can have recovery plans for disaster recovery in both the system, but in computer based system we have a remote backup, so we can access directly data, the lost data, and backup that data from that there. But in manual based system we need to we need a manual storage and backup process for those disaster recovery. La- later later Now we will continue to the next question. So in the next question, they have asked to implement implement the public key implementation using the RSA algorithm with two odd number P and Q, that is 7 and 11. So RSA, now let's discuss the what RSA algorithm says, and I will try to show you how RSA algorithm works. So RSA is nothing but a symmetric key algorithm that is used for block cipher, and it is a cryptographic algorithm to used for generating public key and private key encryption. So for encryption. So let us continue to the algorithm. So let us, if we continue, then at first we have to consider two odd number and the security or level of the system based on these two odd number. How how larger the size of the number is directly proportional to the security of the system. So if we consider two prime number, that is P and Q, that is already given in the question, that 7 and 11. So first we have to compute the multiplication of the system, that is n equals to 77, and we have to calculate the quotient equation of this system. So that is nothing but 1 less than the Q and Q is multiplied together to achieve this. So if we multiply 6 and 10 together, then we can simply dictate 60, and later using using this letter, we have to calculate the coprime of the quotient equation, quotient constant we have calculated, and coprime is nothing but a greatest common divisor that should be less than the quotient constant and 1 and greater than the 1. So if we take this, so we can calculate it will be 13, and this number can be any number between 1 and 60. So if we take here, we are taking 13, but we can also take 7 and any other number that is greatest common divisor of 60. Now continue to the uh, next step. So in next step we have to calculate the private exponent d. It is nothing but the private exponent d, and we calculate this using the extended Euclidean algorithm, and the equation for calculating this is here. So if you calculate this using the equation, then we will get the d equals to 77. So here we can calculate now. We can dictate that the public key for the system will be 77 and 13, and private key used for encryption in the system will be decryption in the system will be 77 and 37. So for encryption process, we use the public key, and the equation used for the encryption process is to generate the cipher text is C equals to ME mod n, and the, for decryption process we use the equation M equals to C power D mod n, C raised to D and mod n, and convert the plain text to original text message using the encoding scheme. Now let us take an example how this to illustrate the implementation of this system. So let us take a message that's containing a block hello. So we have already dictated the public key that can be used for encryption of the system. So first we have to decode the hello in the on the basis of whatever you encoding uh, character we use. Here we are using the ASCII. You can also use Unicode for this, for decoding this. So after encoding the message, we get this number that is to be used for transferring the message. This is the ASCII encoding for the hello, and this is to be used for generating the ciphertext. So we will simply replace the this number in the above equation, and we can simply uh, evaluate that the ciphertext will be 54 data will be transferred to the receiver, and at the receiver end he will use the public key that was generated, and sorry, private key that was generated by the system, and it will not be accessible to any of the user, and the receiver can generate the plain text from this by using the equation m equals to d raised to d and mod n. Later we will continue the next question. So in the next question, there is a statement given that is data security is maintained by four kind of access controls, flow, inference, and cryptographic controls. And they have asked that acting together they reduce but not eliminate the danger of compromises. We have to provide a comment on this statement. So let us first see that what these four access controls are, access mechanisms are. So first, access control is nothing but providing a control over the data, that who can access it or not. And information flow control mentions that the information must be secure and transferred between the user and receiver, maintaining the confidentiality and integrity of the data. And later, inference control is nothing but inference control are designed to prevent unauthorized inference or deduction of sensitive information from the available data. Later, cryptographic control involve the use of cryptographic technique to protect the data confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity. This control use encryption algorithm and mechanism to secure data at rest and in transit. So here is the comment. So while these four controls are essential for maintaining data security, it is important to understand that no security measure can provide absolute protection. The statement correctly points out that these controls, when implemented together, can significantly reduce the risk of compromises. However, it is virtually impossible to completely eliminate the danger of compromise. Determined attacker, advanced hacking techniques, or unforeseen vulnerabilities can still pose threat to data security even with robust control in spaces. Therefore, organizations must adopt a comprehensive and layered approach to data security, combining multiple controls, monitoring system, regular security assessment, and awareness programs. This helps to continuously assess and improve the security posture, reducing the risk of the compromise and mitigate the potential impact on the security incident. Later, we will continue the next question. In this question, they have in this question we have to explain this three method of cryptographic for the three methods that is used by cryptanalysts to attack a cryptographic system. So first ciphertext only first type of attack is ciphertext only. In short, if I explain this, then in ciphertext only, first let us understand what is symmetric key crypto system. So in symmetric key crypto system, we use a single key for encryption and decryption at both the end of at both the end, either it is user end or it is receiver end. So later we will continue the attack. So ciphertext only attack. So in this type of attack, we use the attacker have access to the ciphertext of that is generated by the user, but doesn't have access to any plain text or key that is used for the encryption system. So it is quite difficult for the attacker to generate the plain text or analyze the key from the system. It is the most difficult type of attack and needs proper management and plans for this. And the second type of attack is non-plain text attack. In this type of attack, the attacker has the access of the has the access for ciphertext and plain text, and the main of the attacker is to generate a key that is used for the encryption and decryption process. So this is a quite easy than the ciphertext only attack. So because here the attacker has some more information of the crypto system. And third type of attack is chosen place text attack. In this type of system, user have both access to the ciphertext and completely over the plain text, and the main aim of the user is to generate the key that is used for encryption, and this is the simplest form of an attack that can be made by an attacker. The attacker tries to in both of the above three attacks, the attacker tries to exploit vulnerabilities and weakness in the computer encryption process. To maintain the security of a symmetric key crypto system, it is crucial to use strong encryption algorithm, ensure the confidentiality of the encryption key, and regularly update the key when necessary. So, in symmetric key system, when the encryption algorithm is public, the security of the system relies heavily on how the encryption key are handled. So, there are there are three ways by which we can handle the encryption key. First, we can use a secure key storage mechanism that defines that the storage of the encryption key is should be done in such a way that it must be prevent from an unauthorized access by any unauthorized user. Now, later, second way for handling the key is the key distribution process. It defines that the key used for encryption must be transferred from user to receiver in such a way that it must not be revealed to any unauthorized access. And for this purpose, we can use the public key distribution algorithms like Def-Hellman and key exchange algorithm, and can use the secure communication channel uh, communication channel for key distribution. Third is key unpredictability. We should generate key for encryption process in such a way that it must be quite large enough to be unpredictable by an authorized user. If we continue to the later question, then in this question we have to mention the professional's role in security and the trade-offs involved in the security system. So the role of professional is to maintain the secure development practices, and secure development practice, secure testing and automation of the information security. For this purpose, DevOps professionals are responsible for implementing security testing methodology and tools such as static code analysis and dynamic application secure testing. And third role is of professional is infrastructure security, to maintain the security of underlying infrastructure and system used for application development. And fourth role is security monitoring and incident response. So DevOps professional collaborate with security teams to implement effective monitoring and logging mechanisms. They set up security alerts and establish incident response procedure to quick detect and respond to security incident. So now trade-offs involved in DevOps security may include speed versus security. So DevOps must focus on rapid and continuous software delivery. However, this can sometimes lead to trade-offs between speed and security. Striking the balance is crucial to ensure that security considerations are not compromised in favor of fast development cycle. The second trade-off is automation of automation versus complexity. So automation is the key principle in DevOps development operations. So enabling efficient and consistent process must be managed in developing a software so secure system. However, implementing automated security measures can be complex, requiring careful configuration and integration with existing system. Third trade-off may include developer experience versus security control. So DevOps aims to empower developers and improve their productivity. However, implementing stringent security control can sometimes create friction and impact the developer experience. It is important to find a balance that enables developers to work efficiently while still adhering to necessary security measures. To address these trade-offs, collaboration and communication between DevOps and DevOps, the development processes, leveraging automation and adopting the risk-based approach to security, organization can achieve effective DevOps security without sacrificing speed or compromising the overall security posture. So here we have discussed all the questions that have been asked in first internal for year 2023 of subject information security that was made by Dr. Shaligram Prajapat sir, and thank you so much friends for watching this video. And if you think so, you can also access this PDF from the link given in the description, and this is available for free to all of you. So thank you so much.